What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr War Games, and today I am bringing you my updated branded Bystial profile. So I've been working around with this deck, been using the feedback from YCS Vegas and everything else, looking at all those different types of profiles and put this build together. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more upcoming content. Should you have any questions at all, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. So I'm going to kind of blitz through the list and then only really stop on the new additions or new changes. So for the Despia cards, we are playing 3 Alubar, 1 Tragedy, and we've gone back to the 1 Ad Libitum. Again, I'm always constantly bouncing back and forth between this and Drama, so I wouldn't take, like, it comes down to personal preference really. There's a lot of flexibility for that. And then for the Albaz cards, I'm still playing with 2 Albaz, but I am still playing with 2 Mary Courier, 1 Kit, 1 Albion, and 1 Cartesia. Now, the reason I'm playing 1 Cartesia is because I'm not prepared to play and go and buy a second Starlight yet. I still like the 2 Mary Courier, and the reason I like the 2 Mary Courier is I know a lot of people are saying, well, if you play Kit, you only need to play 1. I still don't agree with that. Like, I like the branded fusion, sending 1 from the deck to the grave, but then I don't mind getting the other one, like searching it out early in the combo, especially with everyone kind of considering to main Nibiru. I think having one of these in your hand can be like next winning. Now, obviously, Ash is the biggest issue we have for this deck. And that is why when you see later on in the profile, I'm actually main decking a way to deal with that. And technically like 4 copies to deal with it, 5 outs to Ash in the main deck. So I think this is relatively standard. I think the most you kind of change around is Drama or Ad Libitum, and then 1 or 2 Mary Courier. The personal preference, this kind of works nicely for me, so I'm happy with that kind of ratio lineup. Onto the Bystials. I've now gone back to 3 Lubellion. Again, I constantly keep chopping and changing this, and I've gone with a 3 Soronir, 1 Druid Swarm, and the 1 Magnamute. So, I mean, dropping these during your opponent's turn, using your opponent's monsters, is not always the most consistent, especially when you look at Trap Tricks. Rare they're going to have a Dark in the graveyard. You look at Kashtira's, rare they're going to have a Dark in the graveyard. So you really want to be utilising them, getting your own effects off, which is why to me Magnamute is least important of all of these, because I mean, if I'm having to activate Magnamute during my turn 0 to then search out a Soronir or a Lubellion, all I'm trying to do is I'm basically saying to my opponent, right, well, I need to survive this turn to then get the utility out of the rest of the cards. So ideally, this is probably what you want to play. They're the most important ones. If you don't have Lubellions, then obviously this is your next best option. But if you've got access to everything, I'm trying it out like this. I might go back to 2 Lubellions, but again, it's still a testing phase and seeing how it goes. And then for the hand traps, or the out to the hand traps, I am main decking the Neospace and Aqua Dolphin. So obviously this was used for YCS second place builds, and it was in the side deck. But I felt, you know what, I'm already main decking 3 Fusion Deployment. So I'm going to show you that now. I've now upgraded to go for 3 Fusion Deployment. So the reason I really like this is, yes, the Aqua Dolphin will be a major brick if you open it up. That's the issue. That being said, Fusion Deployment into Neospatian to look at my opponent's hand, and the only thing I'm trying to get rid of is an Ash. If I see a Nibiru, I will change my strategy and then decide to go, right, okay, I'm either going to try and get to the Mary Courier a lot earlier, or I'm going to be able to kind of play under it. If I see an Imperm, it's not the end of the world, because yes, they can either stop the Ad Libitum, the Alubar, or it means my Branded Fusion will resolve. And my Branded Fusion resolving straight away does everything I need it to do. It dodges around the Imperm like I need it to, because Branded Fusion, send Albaz, send the Mary Courier, everything else from that point on is relatively straightforward. And then you've got additional extenders to get you to Branded White with Kit, and you've got I am playing the Despia Theatre as well. The last hand trap is, of course, Ash Blossom. This is a 43 card deck, and I just felt that it wasn't right not to have Ash Blossom in the deck right now. I mean, the branded matchup, it really, really hurts. Ash is the only hand trap that is good against Trap Tricks, and they've got a lot of hype right now because of the structure deck. So the Ash Blossom is probably a little bit more important for that, being able to kind of stop the Sarah, especially something in the Trap Tricks from the deck. So there's a lot to kind of utilise more with that than Imperm, in my opinion, when you're trying to balance it around all of the other decks that are currently being utilised. Labyrinths, Trap Tricks, Kashtiras, and even the Branded Mirror. Continuing on with the spells, 3 Branded Fusion. I can't wait for this card to get an upgrade. Hopefully Maze of Memory Secret, that would be bass. Triple branded opening, and then obviously I've gone back with the 1 theatre. These are just for those really, really bad scenarios where you do get 9 zone locked. Because it seems that if your opponent is playing cash and they know you're playing branded, they'll go for your spells and traps, which is, you know, probably right to do so, because then they know you can't get the out. Yes, it's probably going to happen more so game 2 and 3, so you could arguably side this card in, but I still wanted a main deck one that if my opponent just goes, you know what, I'm going to go blind fluke it and I'll lock the 5 back row zones, I still have a way to kind of still out the board and build my own board as I see fit. The 1 lost, the 1 regained, the 1 red, the 1 white, the 1 called by the grave, just another way to out Ash Blossom. The 1 Foolish Burial, so send Lubellion, send Merry Courier, send Cartesia technically as well, and send Tragedy. So you've got plenty of targets to do that. You could play Gold Sark, that is another card that you can add into the deck or do as an alternative. But the way I saw it is Gold Sark would only help me get to Merry Courier or Tragedy, whereas Foolish can get me to all those 2 plus Lubellion and Cartesia access. Then for the traps, I've still got the 1 Banishment, the 1 Retribution, and the 1 Beast. Banishment is probably the one that you can consider cutting more times than not. It really comes down to personal preference again on that one. The Expulsion combo I like the idea of, but you can't guarantee you're going to go first. So the way I saw it is rather than playing with 2 bricks in my deck that I don't want to see if I'm going second, I would do it as a side deck option when I'm like, right, okay, I'm 100% going to go first. I can play that, I can play D barriers, and that's when I'm going to change my strategy up. Whereas now, I think this deck has a very nice balance for going first and second. Just our biggest weakness is losing Branded Fusion. Like, if they turn that off, if they negate that, that's when you've really got to play, and that's where Fusion Deployment comes into play so well. Because going to first, you've got extra access to Cartesias, you've got extra access to the Neospatian, and then going second, you've got instant access into Albaz, which I've already kind of talked you guys through enough of how Albaz off of Fusion Deployment can be really, really powerful. Because against a cash board, you can contact Fuse into Mirror Jade, and then you can use Mirror Jade to out the last remaining piece on the board. So you end up contact Fusion away their Arise Heart, you then banish their Shangri-La, and in response they would have used up their Fenrir to banish your Mirror Jade. So you're completely free and open, and all you use to do that is 1 discard and 1 Fusion Deployment. Onto the extra deck, of course we are playing 2 Mirror Jade, 1 Dust Dragon, 1 Albulanatus, 2 Albions. I've got the 1 Lubellion, but arguably you would put 1 Lubellion, 1 Brigade or Brigand. Again, it's just another nice target to send off of the Dust Dragon. So Dust Dragon would send the Albion, and then you'd use Mirror Jade to send the Brigand, and then that guaranteed to have a Merry Courier. Should your opponent like negate the board and go from there. Rim Broom. This could definitely use with Starlight. Like, as much as the Dust Dragon looked awesome, I swear if they had put 3 Starlight branded cards in there, though, I probably would have struggled massively. But Rim Broom is just such a good card. It's probably like one that I would arguably value a little bit more than the Dust Dragon, but the kind of modernisation of this deck just works it so well. 2 Masquerade, arguably you should be playing a second Lubellion off of this, it's up to you. The reason you only play 2 Lubellion though is purely because if your opponent is paying cash, they might see that 1 Lubellion and go, okay, boom. But you've also got Dust Dragon that they'll worry about, Rimbrum that they'll worry about if they're more versed in the matchup. So it really comes down to, you know, your local environment and everything else. I'm still playing the 1 Quinteris and the 1 Priscillian. I just think the easiest way, like the fact you can cheese this off of the Dust Dragon is just so good. Guardian Chimera, and then of course the last card is the 1 Aqua Dolphin. You're never going to summon it, but the fact that you can reveal Aqua Dolphin, it's more one of the ones, if you've got access to this, you know, you might as well play it. And then the Fusion Deployment, Aqua Dolphin, look at your opponent's hand, because not only does the Aqua Dolphin bait out a form of negate, like it could bait out an Imperm or something else, but obviously getting that hand knowledge is also very, very important, because once you know that hand knowledge, you know exactly what you need to play around, you know exactly what your opponent can do, bar their top deck card for the turn. You'll know what you can and cannot activate, and you'll know what you should and shouldn't really do to be playing in or out of their hand. And that's it. I wanted to kind of make it a shorter, sweeter, simpler video, because it is pretty basic in what it's done. Like, I've kind of just adapted a few bits from my build, added a few of the feedbacks from the YCS Vegas builds, and kind of built it from there. So I really, really enjoy this deck. I've got so many decks that I'm enjoying right now, which is great about an open format. Like, Track Tricks is a really fun control build, and then I've got a very aggressive fusion build, with obviously branded as well. And then Dark World is just a fun out-and-out one that, as long as you're not playing against cash, which is banish all my board dot deck, then you're in a very good position. And yeah, everything else is just, you know, Labyrinth is an interesting matchup that I need to be looking into a lot more as well. But other than that, I think the deck's really, really fun. I really, really enjoy it. And I'm going to constantly keep tweaking and changing this as I am with the other decks around. Ninjas are another awesome deck that I've had a lot of fun with lately as well. So kind of playing it around with that one. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Like I said at the start, if you do have any questions whatsoever, please put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. But for now, as absolutely always, guys, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.